All right. Well, there we go. All right. Well, welcome everybody to the study. This week's going to be a little bit lesser of a deep subject. We're just going to touch on some things lightly this week, and that's because I've been studying other things all week. A lady, Miss Donna, and Mr. Kevin sent me some stuff early in the week, last week, that I started looking into, and at the end of the study today, we're going to talk about it. And it's more in line with solutions instead of focusing on the problems. We focus on the problems enough here for the last year and a half. We know the problems. Once you see the problems, you should be able to start moving on. Your mind should start releasing, and let's start looking for solutions. So in a world of inequity, that's lawlessness, finding the truth resets the mind and relieves the soul. And see, I stayed out of the deep studies this week, just letting my mind have some freedom. Yeah. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you get into this stuff, you get so deep into it that sometimes you forget to live. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's go. Review and discussion. I took the entire week off from deep studies, researching and reading law books. Why? Because I had to take a break, man. I have read so much stuff here lately that I was starting to get, starting to lose my edge at retaining that information. So I took a break. Instead, I focused on a solution that was handed to me through not just one subscriber, but also verified by another. Donna and Kevin, thank you. Matthew 18:20, for where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. And I'm going to tell you, I started this protocol yesterday. I feel great so far. But I hope people go and look into this information that's going to be shared today and actually study it. Remember, don't take my knowledge as your own. You have to go research it yourself. That way you've gained the knowledge, not just me. I no longer believe in coincidences, but rather chances for us to alter our path and listen to Yah and allow Yahusha to be our guide. The study today will be on the light side and focus again on concepts of the law. And we got to get this through our head, the difference between Yahuwah's law and man's law. We got to understand what the difference is. But today we will end on what I hope to be a solution to some of our problems. And that's immediate problems. What can we change, folks? Nothing but what? Ourselves. So if you want change to happen, the only way it's going to happen is once you change yourself, then you can start affecting the people around you. And that's what's happened right here in this study. I changed, and it has affected those immediate people around me. We sit together, and now look what's happening. And that's the way it is for everybody. We go, oh, my cousin, my sister, they just not changed. Well, what are you not doing? Yeah, the only way you can do it is show them. And if they don't want to do it, that's their problem. But you got to live it. You can't just talk it. You can't give lip service. The people honoreth me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. If you don't do it, it's not going to work. You got to do it. Advice from a friend. That friend's me. Step back sometimes and remove your mind from the chaos. Look, this world is messed up. What they do to us in the hospitals, what they do to us in our food, what they do to us in our air, what they put in our water, this is screwed up. And anybody who wants to stand up and defend that has just got problems, man. They are killing you day and night and trying to wipe you off the face of the earth. That's just the truth. We must get to a higher adult mind to figure out these issues and to start focus on solutions instead of the problems. For me, an entire week of working in the yard, deep prayer, and meditation has done wonders for my mind. Now let us read from Nehemiah chapter 8 through 9. And here's one of the things that keeps going through my head. I went to school. You go to school almost 1/3 of your life, right? Or 1/4 of your life. You go to school K through 12, and now they got pre-kindergarten and pre-kindergarten. They want your kid at 2 years old, just drop them off. And not one of those years of education were you taught anything about man's law. Huh?
Well,
Where are you?
the government, maybe.
Well, you just know what the government's called. Not one time were you taught anything about how the law really works. Huh. We assume way too much. Nehemiah 8:1, all of the people gathered as one to the public square before the water gate. They asked Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses that Yah had commanded Israel. So Ezra the priest brought the law before the assembly for each man and woman to hear with understanding on the first day of the 7th month. We're going to get into these dates at a later point in time when I understand them more, but we're going to get into these dates because I want everybody here and out there to know that these dates are important. That's why we live on a Gregorian calendar made after a pope and everything else. It's all the dead, man. It's all these fictions. He read from it facing the public square before the water gate from dawn until noon that day. Oh, that's kind of crazy. Opposite the men and women and those with understanding, the ears of all the people were attentive to the book of the law. And that only took them 4 or 5 hours to read the whole law. That's one church service a day. That's all it took. Only took 5 hours to read the entire book of the law. Read to the entire assembly. Huh. You think man's law is going to work that way? No, because you'd have to have 25 snake salesmen sitting there interpreting for you, acting in your place, and lying to you the whole time. Mm-hmm. Yeshua, Yahusha, and what I want you to see is on these names right here, that's Yeshua. That's another, but that's the replacement. Okay, just like Yah is supposed to be Hallelujah, not Hallelujah. Okay, it's Yah. Then Ezra blessed Yahuwah, the great God, and all the people answered, Amen, Amen, while lifting their hands. Then they bowed down and worshiped Yah with their noses to the ground. And I'm not going to butcher all these names. We're going to skip to the Levites. We're teaching the people from the law while the people were in their places. So they read the book from the law of Yahuwah, making it clear and giving the meaning so that they could understand the reading. And see, that's the number one thing. Making it clear and concise for everybody that they understood what was being said. Occam's razor always comes to mind with me. The simplest answer is always the what? The best answer. God is not the author of confusion, okay? And they'll put lies on top of lies to confound you and take you from the simplest of truths. And this is always the case. Now we've seen it for the last year and a half. I've showed you just how complicated the lie is, right? But how easy is the truth? The truth's simple. If you love me, keep my what? Commandments. Huh. The crown, the pope, the state, the people, etc., are all fictions, just things. Let's read some stuff here from the Bar Association. That's where licensed attorneys and lawyers go to get, they cross the bar, right, to get registered. The American Bar Association and its state alter egos has, for all intents and purposes, taken over our entire federal, state, and local governments. The legislative branch follows the advice of their bar member advisors in the constructing of statutes. The executive branch does the same in the enforcement of those statutes. The judicial branch is literally a closed union shop in that regard. You can't be a judge unless you are a bar member, and you can't practice in their courts unless you are a bar member. So you've got to be a member. Mm-hmm. The term bar is an acronym for the British Accredited Registry. These snakes are in fact working for the Crown of England. Now people that get stuck on this, right? That it's the crown, the Queen of England. No, it's not. It's the Crown of England that holds all the power. And what's the crown? It's dead, folks. Because guess what? When she dies, the current Queen of England dies, what happens to the next one? The crown still holds the power. It's not her. Yeah. It's a dead image that holds all the power, folks. It's just like the Pope. He's just an actor. That's not his name. It's just a title. It's a corporation soul. Okay, once you get these concepts through your mind, you'll quit blaming it on the people that it's not on. It's not on that quick. We hand the power over to the crown. What kind of fool would hand his power over to the crown? And what kind of fool would hand his power over to the public? He don't even know the public. You lock your doors? I lock mine. My wife locks hers. Everybody locks their doors. They must not trust this public too much. And that is why the gold these snakes are in fact working for the Crown of England. And that is why the gold fringe flags are in the courtrooms. It signifies admiralty jurisdiction. That's your maritime. That's why you're always in the ship. You're in a relationship. You're in an ambassadorship. Everything's about a ship. All right? Which is another way of saying British jurisdiction. Living men and women pledge their allegiance to dead objects. We do it. Heck, I remember doing it. I pledge the allegiance to the flag. That flag's dead. It's not alive. There's no man or woman that can stand up for that thing. It's just a symbol.
So we burn the flag?
I don't burn it. I don't care for it. I mean, it means that's that dichotomy.
Yeah,
That's that split decision where you. Why would you even get upset if they go out there and caress on? If I go out there hugging on the flag, loving on the flag, you're gonna go, "Oh man, that's a weird dude." Now, if I go out there and burn that flag, you're gonna go, "Oh my gosh."
Dude.
Yeah. So I mean, it's weird both ways.
It is.
It's a flag. Review. The root for the term attorney. A turn, right? That's what it means. A turn. You've turned away from. You turned from who? All right? Originates in Sanskrit, and its original meaning was to turn or to twist. That's what they do. They twist all the meanings. They turn everything. That meaning carried forward largely unaltered into the English language. The letter A, when we went through this last week, that's the indefinite article. Big difference from a God and from the God, right? There's a big difference. The signifies it's the only one. The one. A one. It's not the same. All right? This is English grammar. This is part of the deception is inside the grammatical structure. Most people, most living men and women today don't even know the correct grammatical structure of English. Well, that's the system protecting itself. Okay? The letter A, when used as a word, is defined as an indefinite article. And when used as a prefix, it equates with the word one, which modifies the base word turn accordingly, as does the suffix EY. The extra T is added to separate the two vowels for proper pronunciation in accordance with the rules of English grammar. Thus, ATTORNEY quite literally means one who turns from something. That's what it means. That's just the truth. There's no amount of changing, no crying you can do. We turned from the original landowner. We said, you know what? We don't want your laws. We want our own. We'll just do what we want. And that's all it is. We'll just do what we want to do. Don't worry. And now I'm going to talk about how they suck in the people in these small towns through these initiations. The initiate must take blood oaths in order to progress to higher levels of initiation. That's why they're called degrees. You're getting your degree, your certification, you pass. Here you go to the next level. Here you go. Come on up. The blood oaths themselves imply or state that the initiate will suffer a most horrible death if he reveals the secrets of the lodge. That's the same thing the very first initiation that the Masonic order does. They hoodwink them. They put a blindfold around the eyes, raise their pants legs up with a cable tow around their neck. First thing he does is talk about ripping out his chest. If you ever now, who does that? Who does now? Really, you do that as a young man when you're ignorant of what's going on, and of course they use this. Many judges and lawyers are Freemasons. In fact, a very large number of civil servants, from judges to presidents, are members of secret societies such as Skull and Bones, Knights of Malta, and Freemasonry. Can we trust judges and lawyers who are Freemasons? No. Why? Why can't you? Why can't you? Because the oath is bound to what? We're going to see this. You are not part of that brotherhood, so you are not liable to what? The truth. According to the Handbook of Masonry by Ronnie Ain, page 183, you must conceal all the crimes of your brother Mason, and should you be summoned as a witness against a brother Mason, be always sure to shield him. It may be perjury to do this. It is true, but you're keeping your obligations. The following is the blood oath that Freemasonic Shriners take. In willful violation whereof may I incur the fearful penalty of having my eyeballs pierced through the center with a three-edged blade, my feet flayed, and forced to walk the hot sands upon the sterile shores of the Red Sea until the flaming sun shall strike with a livid plague, and my God Allah, the God of Arab, Muslim, and Mohammedan, the God of our fathers, support me to the entire fulfillment of the same. Now, I've already told
That's what Shriners is all
Yeah.
about.
That's why the Shriners walk around with a little.
See them come on TV, want money to help the kids.
Well, yeah.
So that's good.
Well, no. Listen, philanthropy's one thing. What that's like the Red Cross, who steals all these people's money, don't give anything back. They make you look great. Yeah. And we can go out here and put on a parade in the middle of your town and make you look good. What's your doctrine? What's the truth? That's what this is. What's the hat that they wear on with the moon and the sun? It tells you that they Allah. Yeah. But now we're going to figure out who Allah is after this, because I didn't want to leave this hanging. But this is the problem with our current society. There's us and them. Those in the club, those in the bar association, those sitting on the bench, those sitting inside the high places who know the truth and keep it from the rest of everybody. And that's why you have your degrees. That's why every town's got a Freemasonic place for the brothers to meet, and you'll find that most of your sheriffs, most of your judges, most of everybody that has anything to do with the running of your town is a Freemason. Why? Well, it's simple. It's a brotherhood.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. Mm-hmm. So when the call comes down to the man of a lower degree from the high degree, and it says you must do this, what do they have to do? Well, they have to do what they're told. Yeah. So the ka, right? Let's do this. The ka was essentially a person's double. This is from Egypt, folks, because we're going to break down ka, ba, Allah, Kabbalah. Okay, let's break it down. It was the life force, and at death, it was separated from the body. So the ka represents the spirit. The reason for extensive and elaborate preparation for the body for the afterlife was to ensure that ka had a home. The living would sometimes provide bread, beer, oxen, fowl to feed the ka for the afterlife. They also believed the deceased body would have to resemble the past living body as much as possible, so the ka would recognize its body, and then the ba would return to it each night after spending time in the sunshine. Folks, it's all about the dead. Yeah. Let's do the ba. The ba, another spiritual entity, was seen as a human-headed bird hovering over the deceased or exiting the tomb in the hieroglyphics, and was part of the soul that could travel between the worlds of the living and the dead. During the age of the pyramids, it was believed only the king had a ba. The word ba was similar to the word ram and was associated with strength and power. Now go back reading Daniel, the book of Daniel, about the ram and the he-goat, and you might get some clarity on what Daniel's talking about. So let's do this. Let's continue on in this thread. There it is. Ka ba Allah, the great awakening, Q, merging of opposites yet again. So the Ka represents the sun. Allah is the moon, the sin, the merging of opposites. All right? It's always the same. You'll find it in everything. And I'm just showing you this today to show you how serious it is to understand Yah's law. Quit worrying about the junk, because it's all tied in together. Every bit of it. That's why they go to Kaaba in Mecca. They race around this black cube in circles. There's the same thing that's on the Shriner's hat. There it is.
And it just looks like a pretty little store, don't it?
Yeah, it sure does, don't it? And here's the Egyptian Book of the Dead. There it is. The Great Awakening. That's what the QAnon's called, isn't it? Mm. The Great Awakening, for all those out there who still waiting on Q. Big difference in the living and the dead, folks. This system is built on the dead. That's why Yah says, I took you out of bondage, out of the land of what? Egypt. Nehemiah 8:9, Nehemiah the governor, Ezra the priest and scribe, and the Levites who taught the people, said to all the people, This day is holy to Yah, your Elohim. Do not mourn nor weep. For all the people wept when they heard the words of the law. Then he said to them, Go, eat festive food, and drink sweet drinks, and send a share to those for whom nothing is prepared. This is where your tithe comes in, folks. This is where your tithe comes in. It's not about going to give some rich person who's driving a Mercedes Benz or whatever. No, it's to the poor. It's to them that didn't have food. When your crop did good, their crop did bad, you shared. You made sure other people had. What I do here when I fix everybody a meal every Sunday, I give my time. I give something back. For this day is holy to Yah. Do not be grieved, because the joy of Yah is your refuge. And now this is something I do want to stop and talk on. Now that I have the joy, it cannot be taken away from without. The only person that can take my joy is who? Me. Mm-hmm. Me. All this other stuff that we think that we have to be happy, that we put in place of our real happiness, is just temporary. I don't care what you do. Jeremiah 10:10, but Yah is the true God. He is the living God. This is the big difference between them and Yah. He's the living God and an everlasting King. Theirs is the dead, folks. And when you get this concept through your head, this is the problem with the Logos, right? In the beginning was the Word. The Word was the Logos. That's what it meant, right? The Logos is the concept. You have to unlearn all the junk that you stuffed in your head and grasp the bigger concepts and then start working out. He is the God of the living, the Most High of the living, not the dead. And that's a big distinction when you start looking into all this law. Man's law is built only on the what? Dead. It can't deal with a living man. You've got to act as your person. You got to put on your graven image and then go to their courts, because they can't deal with a living man and woman. They can't. For this, because of his wrath, the earthquakes and the nations cannot endure his anger. Jeremiah 23:36, but you shall not mention the burden of Yah, for the burden is to each one his word. And so you twist the words of the living God, Yah of hosts, our Elohim. I mean, it's just this simple, folks, when you start really grasping this knowledge, that when I start tearing out how to come out of Babylon, I'm telling you right now, most of the path I already, well, I'm not even going to say most, but a lot of it I do know. The very fact is that everything in this reality is an inversion of the true way. So you have to start uncovering it like that. It's the satanic law of reversal. That's all it is. Everything is in this system is the reversal of the living man and woman. Be you holy, for he is holy. Nehemiah 9:1 on the 24th day, and Nehemiah chapter 8 and 9. Y'all read that tonight or whenever you get a chance, and just read what happens as they read the law. I didn't put the whole chapters in here, but understand that's what was happening in Nehemiah chapter 8 and 9. They're reading the whole law to everybody. Nobody's missing out on information. Nobody has an advantage over somebody else because everybody knew. That's the type of society that I long to be in, where I don't have an advantage over anybody because of something I know. No, what do? I hand the knowledge away just as soon as I understand it. That's how society's supposed to be. Gathered in fasting and sackcloth and with soil on them. Those of the seed of Israel separated themselves from all the foreigners and stood and confessed their sins and the inequities of their ancestors. Oh man, nobody repented in the Old Testament, did they? Huh, there it is. There it is. They're repenting. They stood up in their place and read from the book of the law of Yah, their God, for a fourth part of the day, and for a fourth they were confessing and worshiping Yah, their God. Huh. Wow. I thought people told me nobody repented back then. Huh. Nothing's changed. Amos 3:1. Hear this word that the Yah has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you all for your iniquities, lawlessness. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Well, yeah, you're not going to walk with Yah if you don't agree with his law. Do you understand? That's not about you and another person. Two unequally yoked. You can't live Yah's and man's law at the same time. You're going to love one and hate the other. This is what it's all about. Do you really understand what it's really all about? I hope so, as we move forward. One of the systems is a fraud from the way go. What do lawyers do? Here's that key word. They act as advocates in representing one of the parties in criminal and civil trials by presenting evidence and arguing in court to support their client and counsel their clients concerning their legal rights and obligations. Well, why are they just counsel? Because you're the attorney. How do you pursue a career as lawyer? Well, heck, you got to go through 7 or 8 more years of school, and then pass a written bar examination, initiating you into that association. That's just facts, Jack. You're not going to get it through any other way. And then once you join it, it's really just about knowing the language. That's what they go to school for, to know the language. That's all they go to school for. One of the law systems is written down and able for all to understand. The other is built upon the dead, and only trained associates who are licensed have any knowledge of the system. Something's wrong with that, folks.
Sure is.
This puts every single man, woman in this system who doesn't know at a severe disadvantage. And not just a slight disadvantage. No, it puts you at a severe disadvantage. Folks, this is screwed up. And of course, this is the exact reason why it's done. If you are at a disadvantage from the get-go, well, guess what? Evil men shall wax worse and worse. And they will keep on deceiving you. My people are destroyed from a lack of what?
No.
What will be done will be done, and I want to make that clear, folks. I don't control the heavens or the earth. I control myself and have some type of input on those I love around me. Let's quit focusing on what's going to happen and all this stuff. And I've completely checked out of YouTube and everything else where all this garbage is always putting, well, this is what happened. Well, once you come to a understanding of the truth, why it is, well, now you got to start finding a way to change it.
A solution.
That's right. So we're going to start looking at solutions in this study. They're going to be tough to come across. But I will tell you this, I've got some great subscribers already, and they're sharing some awesome stuff. Let us fix ourselves first, then focus on other things. The next few slides are focused on just that. I've started a new regimen that was handed to me this last week by a few subscribers, in which I started the protocols yesterday. There are many of you who have written that you are disabled, opiate addicted. The next few weeks, this channel, I will give a report on the benefits of this protocol. It's called the Master Mineral Solution, or the Miracle Mineral Solution, by Dr. Jim Humble, and this is his church. Now, this is what I want to talk about right here. Before I even move forward, why did he have to start a church, folks? Anybody figure to sell this? Let me give you a little bit of information. The only law that's above this law is what kind of law? Ecclesiastical law, Yahuwah's law, right? Well, the only way he could protect himself by actually selling something that heals people was what? Start a church. We of the church believe in doing good deeds, doing what is right, good health for all mankind, freedom for all mankind, enlightening others with truth, helping one another. This is the first site I went to. This was shared to me by a subscriber. Donna was her name, and she shared this information with me, and I read on it all week long. Just like I do everything else. I go through reading the reports. I go through watching the testimonies. I go through the scientific side of it, trying to understand every single thing that I can before I make a decision. Well, on this particular one, I only had to do the research for about 2.5 days, and I pulled the trigger and bought it. That's how much sense it made once I understood it. And I still don't understand everything about it, but we're going to get into this stuff. I just want to show you this is a from the NCIB, a study on controlled clinical evaluations of chlorine dioxide, chlorite, and chlorate in man to assess the relative safety of chronologically administered chlorine water disinfectants in man. A controlled study was undertaken. Chlorine dioxide is currently under serious consideration in the United States as an alternative, keyword alternative, to what? Chlorine. That's what's in your water.
Yeah.
All right. Before chlorine dioxide may be used routinely as a water disinfectant, the safety of an oral human ingestion of chlorine dioxide and its byproducts must be assessed. I'm going to load all these in the show notes. Let me tell you what the end of the study is. What's the end of the study? Completely safe. Why? But why is it not in your water?
Because it won't kill you.
Because it won't kill you. That's right, Betty. Because it won't kill you, because it actually heal you. Can't have that. Saying what they'll do. This is the study on NCIB. Chlorine dioxide is not what? Chlorine. It's not. Two totally different chemicals. While chlorine dioxide has chlorine in its name, its chemistry is radically different from that of chlorine. And that's just, where do you think that was the first thing that popped up? There's a reason chlorine dioxide didn't replace fluoride and chlorine in your water, even though it purifies the water the best. And that's because it'll heal you. There would be no pathogens. There would be no viruses. There would be no fungi and everything else in our water system. That doesn't help them.
No, it don't.
That doesn't help
And
them.
that's not what they want.
No. One of the first things you figure out when researching anything of the pharmaceutical industry, pharmakia, sorcery, poison makers, is that anything that actually cures or assists in actually making one healthy becomes public enemy number one.
What do you use in chlorine for any chemical plants? They will bring you different chlorine.
What about?
What do you use that for?
That's it ends up in your water, chlorine.
They'll bring you
Yeah, that's what your bleach is.
Yeah.
That's what your bleach is, chlorine.
I worked in many plants that had that stuff in there.
Yeah. You will find many claiming it.
Smelling too.
Yeah. You will find many claiming it is a bleach and is nothing of the sort. Two totally different compounds. Lintec water treatment solutions. Chlorine dioxide has many applications. It is used in the electronics industry to clean circuit boards, in the oil industry to treat sulfides, and to bleach textile and candles. In World War II, chlorine became scarce and chlorine dioxide was used as a bleach. Nowadays, chlorine dioxide is used most often to bleach paper. It produces a clearer, stronger fiber than chlorine does. Chlorine dioxide has the advantage that it produces less harmful byproducts than chlorine. That's the problem, right? As a matter of fact, it produces 0 harmful products to the human body. All right, chlorine dioxide gas is used to sterilize medical and laboratory equipment, surfaces, rooms, and tools. Chlorine dioxide can be used as an oxidizer or a disinfectant, and it goes on and on. And what it does inside the body, as far as I can understand it, it uses the oxidation, which is what you use. You breathe oxygen, don't you? Well, oxygen is the process of oxidation, and it actually attaches itself to the harmful pathogens and everything in your body and destroys them. But no, this is medicine. No, this is medicine. Read your side effects on your bottles that you take. Read them.
I have a
Yeah,
lot
that's
of
on
this.
TV every day.
Yeah,
It's all over TV. What you do?
yeah, but that's medicine, right?
Not some of your medicine.
Don't forget suicidal thoughts and tendency to murder. Don't forget those. Serious side effects include heart attack, stroke, high blood pressure, heart failure from body swelling, kidney problems. That's when they read it real fast at the end. Bleeding and ulcers in the stomach and intestine, low red blood cells, life-threatening skin reactions, life-threatening allergic reactions, liver problems including liver failure, asthma attacks in people who have asthma. Other side effects include stomach pain, constipation, diarrhea, gas, heartburn, nausea, vomiting, dizziness. And then they go, oh, and it's possible that you could go on a killing spree.
As they show
They
you
wanted that.
people doing wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. That's not medicine.
Yeah.
That's not medicine. Start being the change you want to see. And this goes for me. Remember, this study's about who? It reflects me the most, right? So I have to stop waiting and start doing. There will be links in the show notes, and do not trust what I say. Again, my knowledge cannot be yours unless you go capture the knowledge and information yourself. We have a brother who runs a MMS site also, and his tips and tricks section is very helpful. I'm going to include that, and it's mmsforeveryone.net. And then, of course, I bought my MMS from Genesis 2 Church. There's the link. Every single subscriber who has information on this topic and what it has done for you, please provide the details within the reply section. And I'm asking each and every one of you subscribers, just like you've been doing, you've been sharing a lot of great stuff. Keep sharing it. But on this particular subject, anybody that has started taking the MMS and what it's done for you, detoxing your body, please share it in the show notes. And help another brother or sister out. Carrie Rivera has excellent information regarding this topic and uses it for autism. And it's one of those things, folks. I've got more research to do. I've got over 400 pages to read on the law, guys. I was just showing our Bible study group on the path to freedom, and it's going to take a little while. It's going to take a little while because it's not only those 400 pages of man's law that I got to learn, because I'm completely ignorant of man's law, right? I mean, I've come a long way in my understanding, but guess what? To get out of Babylon, guess what I got to do? I got to study the law. And it's crazy. That's ridiculous to be trapped in something you don't want to be a part of. That's called what? It's called slavery, folks. That's what it is. It's called being in bondage. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like the fact that the state of Louisiana could swoop down here this week because I don't vaccinate my children or whatever, or put them in public school and take my children from me. I don't find that cool at all. I don't like it. He is actually going through the motions of leaving Babylon. Oh, yeah, and I want to say this. We have a brother that's going through the motions of leaving Babylon right now in Oregon. And we want to send our prayers and thoughts to him that everything comes out all right. And your fight against the state of Oregon and the IRS continues without any pain and suffering. And that's it, folks. Any questions or anything else after this, just let me know. And we'll get to it. Let your word not return unto thee void, but let it accomplish that which you please and prosper in the thing where you sent it.